I'm here at the Pendance Film Festival with Julia Lederer, and she came out with It's Nothing, a film. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What was the process like working with director Anna Maguire on this film?
Yeah, it was great. I come from a theater background, and so I haven't worked with a lot of film directors yet because I'm new to making films. And Anna and I worked together for quite a long time while I was writing the script. And it was a transition for me to learn to write visually because theater, it's so language driven. And this is such a difference. And so we worked a lot on the script. I never thought I would write so many drafts of like a 16-page script. But I think in the end it was really worthwhile because when we got to shooting, our vision, like we saw it very much the same way because we've been in such constant communication in the writing process. So it was really great and cool to see sort of two perspectives kind of get woven together in a way that I think was really collaborative and exciting and different than either of us would have done on our own.
All right, now you're a playwright originally who transitioned into film, which is what you're going through right now. So tell me about the play with Love and Major Organ and why you decided it would transition well onto the screen.
Right, because that's going to be my first feature. So I'm writing that adaptation right now, and we're going to shoot it in Vancouver in the fall. And I actually didn't think it would be a good film because it's so language driven. But then I met a director and I sent her the play as just sort of a sample of my work, and she was like, this should be a film. And so it's been interesting because I've done a lot of thinking about plays that have become films and which ones work and how they work and why. And I think in the end it has to be something really visual. And so I've had to really change with Love and a Major Organ a lot, but keep kind of the heart of it the same. So it's been a really interesting challenge, and now it's been quite a while and a lot of work, but we're going to shoot it in the fall, and then we'll see how it goes as a film.
We are here with Michael Uccello at the Pendance Film Festival, and he just came out with the short film Dreamcatcher. Fantastic. So Dreamcatchers, did you have one growing up?
Yes, I did. It's funny enough, I felt connected. I remember being in like a grade school, and we had the indigenous culture, people come in and do their ceremonial dances and rituals and stuff like that. So I always felt connected, just some weird, metaphysical degree. And which later on had inspired me to write something that revolved around that idea of what a dream catcher is, the possibilities of it, and then just the idea of the mysticism of their culture. So that definitely inspired me to write this.
Now, your film Dreamcatcher is in the same block as a film by Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, when I read that, honestly, like my knees got weak because I model a lot of my writing after him and his films. Definitely, he's a role model director of mine, and I could only wish to produce something that he has in terms of putting an allegory into a surreal and atmosphere, a surreal world, and yet make it so believable, so transmissible to the audience.
That's amazing.
So that's an honor for me.
And I have one final question for you. Can you tell me about how the four of you at Metal Monster came together? What a name, Metal Monster.
Metal Monster, I know, you could slap that on anything.
Yeah, bumper sticker.
Yeah, we met each other in film school, and it was honestly just over a few beers where we just ended up clicking. They happened to have been three brothers, and then there was myself, and they had a friend who was a composer, who was named Patrick, so there's five of us, and now a sixth who is Sev, and he's an editor. So we have this team now where we all just met really through film school, through networking, and just really enjoying the same things and being in love with the same things, with the same goals. And we just trust each other with our lives, so it's a family. That's what it is.
Fantastic. And your film explores abuse and physical violence in a personal relationship. Can you elaborate on that and why you chose to explore that topic?
I chose to explore that topic just because I realized that a lot of girls that surrounded me were really into really bad relationship, not really like physical abuse, but also emotional abuse. Really wanted to make it like no dialogue. It's all about emotion, and it's all about feeling what she's feeling with no words. So I thought 2 pages, it's great. And I was like, oh no, is it going to be 2 minutes? But because it's all action, it ended up being 5 minutes, and I think it's a great time frame because with 15 minutes, you get maybe bored at 5 minutes, but then because it's only 5 minutes, you can't get bored.
That's true. people's attention spans these days aren't that fast, and 5 minutes is perfect. Now, you were selected in the short block Through Her Eyes, and that means you're a part of the first block, the opening block at Pendance Film Festival. Now, how do you feel about that, being the first block?
I think it's really good that it was all women in the industry, that women are kind of starting to realize that we can make it. Like, I think it's really good that they started with women, and I'm really proud to be like the only Canadian one, which I realized I was like, oh, I'm like the only one here because I'm the only one that's Canadian. That makes sense. And I thought it was really nice to have a bunch of film from women to mostly women, and I thought it was really, I'm proud of it.
And it couldn't come at a better time, right? In 2020, this is, all right. Fantastic. We are here with Matt and Simon, the lead actor and director of the movie Sunset Channel. Can you tell me a little bit about your vision, Matt, and how you came up with Sunset Channel?
Well, I was actually working with my co-writer, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but he had this amazing idea that was such a weird kind of, just a surreal idea about this guy who saw some sort of drowning on his television screen and wanted to find out. But he had this idea as a graphic novelist at first, or an idea for a graphic novel. And it's something that we kind of worked on together and decided, this might actually work as a kind of a cinematic adventure instead. So we started writing it together. It was a long process of making it work because it's such an odd kind of idea. But once we felt we had it, we hit the ground running.
Now, what are you hoping in terms of audience reaction? Is there something that you're going for? Simon, what are you hoping that the audience is going to do?
Well, it's a funny film for the reaction because the way I read the film is completely different to how people I've spoken to afterwards have read it itself. So I think the most satisfying thing I can say that we get from the movie itself is that there's a lot of different opinions and feelings of what the narrative is itself, and what the journey that character Robert Fisher goes on himself. The way I played it is completely different, so I'd say how 9 out of 10 of my friends have read it. So, I think that's credit to Matt and Ben, though, and the concept they came up with, because it is an open-ended narrative in that sense. Like, it's not clear. You can make up your own story and your own ending, and what you get from the film is completely personal. I think those are some of the best shorts.
That's fantastic. Ben, I have a couple questions for you about your film. The film's called New Woman. Are you a new woman?
I like to consider myself an old woman.
Okay, fantastic. Now, New Woman is termed a gothic horror film. Very interesting. What's the earliest memory you have of watching a horror film, and was that inspiration for you to create this movie?
I think the first big horror film that really touched a nerve was The Shining. It's kind of like an update on the gothic genre. But the old Universal classics from like the 30s and 40s, Frankenstein and Dracula, I remember watching those as a kid and being just blown away by it. So that definitely had an impact on me.
Is there something else you're looking forward to checking out here at the festival?
I'm really looking forward to the Werner Herzog film. That looks really cool. He's one of my absolute favorite filmmakers. And also, Lanthimos' film is playing in my block, which is a huge honor because I love The Lobster and The Favorite and all his films. He's fantastic too. So I'll probably check them all out and give them a chance. But those are the two big ones.